We're getting ready to start our webinar. This is Isis Tosado and my moderator, Shelby. We're going to be sharing some ideas about collaboration today with you all. Well, we're about to start. It's 4:15 already. Let me share my screen with you. Hopefully you can see it now. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Today, we're going to have our webinar, Fascinate, Collaborate 21st Century Learners. We're going to start demonstrating some engaging collaboration tools for 21st century learners. My name is Isis Tosado. I'm from Bussy Middle School. I teach A3 Social Studies. Our school currently has 4 iPad cards of 10 iPads, 4 Chromebook cards with 30 iPads. And you can follow me at Mrs. Tosado on Twitter. My moderator is Shelby Mallet. She's from Sam Houston Middle School. She's a 6th grade English teacher. She has 3 student computers in her classroom, 8 Chromebook cards on the campus available for checkout. And you can find her at Mrs. Mallet on Twitter. Well, first of all, we're going to start talking about collaboration on the digital world and how we can use different tools for the students to collaborate. And usually we see some misconceptions where people think that it is very easy for the students or the kids because they still think that they're digital natives. And it is true that the kids are digital natives when we talk about devices such as the cell phones and social media, but in most cases, it's really hard for them to utilize those devices and all the tools we have available for educational purposes, things that are academic, and we have to prepare them for those skills for the real world. Sometimes people think that the collaborative activities, especially when they're using devices, they're ineffective and inefficient, and that there's little value for lots of time that we have to invest teaching the students how to use the devices and the applications. There's also some concerns about confidentiality and privacy since we're working with minors, and we have that concern, especially in my grade level. I work with middle school as Shelby, and sometimes we're concerned about those students and how their information is being accessed and who do they collaborate with. So today, we're going to make sure that we talk to you about the importance of collaboration to prepare the students for the 21st century. The 21st century requires some skills. And we found a very interesting quote on Edutopia. There's an article about deeper learning. A collaborative classroom is key. And it says, in preparing our students for college and careers, 21st century skills call on us to develop highly collaborative citizens. It's one of the 4 C's after all. And we know that we're talking about critical thinking, creativity, communication, and also collaboration. So the students have to know how to develop the collaboration and communication skills necessary for the 21st century market, right? The careers, the college. On the EASTE standard from the International Society for Technology and Education, our standard will be number 6, the Creative Communicator SUC. Students communicate clearly and express themselves creatively for a variety of purposes, using the platforms, tools, styles, formats, and digital media appropriate for their goals. So, as you see, we're emphasizing how they choose to communicate and how they create to publish. One of the first tools that we are going to talk about is Google Classroom. We cannot just assume that by sitting together, the students will just develop collaboration skills. The skills needed to work effectively, and we need to consider all the necessary needs that our students have and also the skills they need. We should make sure that we give them some opportunities to develop those. So one of them is Google Classroom. And I know many of you have started using Google Classroom. It's something that we have been using a lot in our schools currently, especially with the approach of the one-to-one. But there's so many things that we can do with it. We can add many of the applications to Google Classroom, and we're going to show you some of them that we can utilize in our schools. And also, it helps us create those digital citizenship skills that our students also need. So in Google Classroom, for those that have not tried it yet, it's a free service for schools, nonprofits, and anyone with a personal Google account. Currently, Garland ISD has an account for everybody, so the students and the teachers have access to it. It makes it very easy for the learners and instructors to connect inside and also outside of schools. I've had cases in which the students cannot physically come to the school, and through this amazing tool, I can just assign them specific activities for them to work on. It is very easy to create all these classes. As you see, this is an example of how mine looks, and to distribute assignments, communicate, and also to stay organized. You can also differentiate, and I'll show you a little bit later. It's also saving you a lot of time and, of course, paper. Well, one of the things that we can do with Google Classroom is to create a collaborative assignment, attaching one document for the whole class to work on. Or you can just use a specific document for a specific team. All students contribute to the same document or the presentation, but you have to make sure that each one of them has a clear part or a specific slide to edit. As we know, students then will start playing around and just typing on random parts. So it is very important for us just to be specific about which part we want them to work on. And I can show you, this is one example of what we can do. So in a second, I'm going to take you to a random class over here. And let's imagine I want to create an assignment. I just open the page here in Google Classroom. I click on Create Assignment. I can select the classes that I want to assign this specific activity to. Or I can just focus on a specific group if I want to differentiate. So I can select the whole class, or I can select specific students. I can select the date, but this is the cool thing that I wanted to show you. So let me just attach any random activity here to show you. Let's just attach what we're doing. And this is the very important part if you want them to collaborate. You can just click Student Can View File if it's just a resource for them to read or to view some slides or videos or activities. You can click Students Can Edit the file, or you can click on Make a Copy for each student. And this is the part that I consider very important if you're using it individually. But in our case, I would love to click on Student Can Edit the file and select the group of students that you want to work on that file. Make sure that you're not sharing the original, that you're sharing a copy. So by the time you assign it, you're not assigning your copy, you're assigning the one you want them to work on. And it is very important to be sure that that presentation has a specific topics that you want them to work with. That will allow them to collaborate on the same file, that of course you can see it on your drive as they go, and they can all see well everybody is editing on that file. So let me just close this and now save it. And we're going to continue here. So that's an example of how they can collaborate on the same document. And in this case, I was using slides. You can also use a document. You can also use Google Docs. So all of them are actually collaborating on the same document. Another option that teachers can utilize is the chat room. So you enabled it with your own document, posted on the Google Classroom, and all of them can start chatting on the same page or the same document or the same slides. Make sure that you're letting all students edit on the same document, because that is going to permit this collaboration and communication skills, and make sure that you're part of that document, that you're the creator, so you can look at what these students are creating. And there's always questions. Make sure you track the revision history, and the comment feature is going to be really useful, teaching students how to communicate. And it will show you which student is asking the question. It is going to tag that student directly for that comment. So it is very important. Crowdsource. All of them can create a specific reference as a class, and all of them can post their information. So you can make like a document that you can refer to it later, made by the whole group. You can also collaborate with other classes. In my case, as a history teacher, I could just use my partner teacher and link those two classes together. So during the class period, we can collaborate. We don't have to physically meet, but with the devices, our students can collaborate through the class. And you can also ask the students to add their own slide link to the collaborative page that they have been working on. Another really cool app that we are going to show you today is Bae Board. This app was created for the business world, and lately it has been introduced also for the education, right? Bae Board is a digital whiteboard that all students can use at the same time. It's an app for iPad. It's not available for Android, unfortunately, but it is very simple to use and very easy for the students to connect. So let me see. The students can use the app on the iPads, and the students can add their answers to the board at the same time. That board can be displayed from your computer, because you can actually access it from your computer. So it's available on the App Store as I show you. It's right here. This is Bae Board. And this is how it would look. So it is an online whiteboard. You can collaborate, you can share, you can work with the same exercise all together. I'm going to try to connect so you can see it from my device. Hopefully it works in a second. Okay. Okay, let's see if I can successfully show you. This is the icon for Bae Board over here. And as you see, you can create a board over here. Just put practice. And this is what I have. A very cool feature. I really like this, especially when you are with smaller students, right, or little kids. You can use the web sharing option. So it would just link with the students that are sharing the same Wi-Fi. Obviously, over here, I don't have anybody working with me. Let me start my practice. Tap to start it over here and start it on real time. And this is what you will see. If you see on the bottom, let me lift this a little bit so you can see. This is the meet number that the students will have to click over here. That's the number that they will have to type when they open the app to collaborate. And as you see, they can all write on it. You can type. It gives you many possibilities. You can attach documents or images as well. So you can, for example, put an article or an image for the students to react and collaborate. And this will be Bae Board. So this showing you again the number, how you share it to be participant of that virtual whiteboard during the class or even from far away. You have the web sharing option, or you can invite specifically the participants through these options. Now, we want to export that information to see what the students did in class. So there's many ways to do that. You can export a photo. You can export the document as a PDF. There are many icons that you can use and add to the page as well. So that gives you another opportunity to let them create, because we want them to be creative at the same time. That's part of the 21st century education. Another interesting whiteboard app is iBrainstorm. And iBrainstorm is focused on education. It's a way, as you see, to brainstorm, think, share, and repeat. This is how iBrainstorm will look on the iPad. The cool thing is that this one, especially now that we're going to have iPads next year in middle school, for high schoolers, they already do. You can share it from iPad to iPad. So when you click on these little happy faces, you're able to share it with the other iPads in your classroom. This is an example, and I'm going to show you briefly how it works. So as you see, you can create sticky notes. They can use the emojis, which I love. They can make graphic organizers and brainstorm about them, use the information. They're all collaborating, as you see. They're all adding to the same document or the same whiteboard. So this is another way. We have, like I say, Bae Board, and this is an iBrainstorm. It's more kids friendly and it's only from iPad to iPad. So it's secure. If you're looking for something that is safe to collaborate within the classroom, this will be your tool. On the other hand, Bae Board has more possibilities because you can even collaborate with people that are not seated with you in the same classroom. But this is more structured with the graphic organizers. Now, this is the cool thing about iBrainstorm. And it's not that on the other one we saw that we can share or we can export, right, the document or the creation through photos or PDFs, but look at iBrainstorm. You can message, mail, you can copy to your drive, or better, send it to your classroom. So as you see, Google Classroom has so many possibilities for so many new tools that have been created lately. Another cool tool that I really like is ClassKick. Some people believe that ClassKick is just something to keep the structure in your classroom and guide your students, and they think it's kind of individual work, but it has a new feature that makes it very collaborative. So it's personalized, real-time feedback. Imagine just being able to control your whole classroom from your device, either your iPad or your PC. And all the students with their devices are working, and you can see clearly what they're doing on their screen. They can even ask for help through their screen. And the best of all, the basic is free. I'm going to show you the ClassKick page. It is free. Let me log in as a teacher. I'm logging into it. I can show you one template, for example, that I have. And as you see, the student work. Right now, these two kids are raising their hands because they need help. I'm going to continue showing. Let me go over here. First of all, you can safely collaborate just by sharing that code. So they open their app, they type the code, and they log into the class. It's very easy, especially if you're working with smaller students. But there's also an awesome feature over here that you can just link it to your Google Classroom account. And if you're currently using Google Classroom with your whole class, that's the easiest way, because they just go to one specific place and open their links from there. So you show the link, share it with the students only, it's safe, and you can also share it through Google Classroom. Now, this is the example of how they can collaborate. Even though it is something that you assume they're working individually, there is a feature that I can click on, as you see over here. Can turn it off, or I can turn on the feature that says allow peer helpers. And that is going to allow the students to see as well that someone needs help, and they can collaborate with their friends as well. So I'm going to try to log in from my iPad so you can see my screen if a student was working on it. Okay, apparently my connection is gone. I'll try to do it really fast. If not, we'll just continue. Okay, I am currently student me over here, signing in. As you see, the student can see the template. This is what I see on my screen on the iPad. And right now, as you see, I'm adding information scribbles, right? And I can see a little hand like this on my screen. I click on it. And I can ask, please check, and that will be the green one. When I click that, the teacher can check what the student has done. Or I can click on please help, which is that little yellow hand. And that's how you know that a student needs some help. And I can help my student that has been working on that slide. The cool thing about ClassKick is that you don't have to create new materials. You can just use the same PowerPoints of activities that you have been using and just add that activity. You can create a new blank assignment or create it from a file. So you can just put a regular PowerPoint that you have been using and just use it as your assignment. Now, this feature that makes it collaborative is the one that says, please help. And as I showed you before, I have the option to allow other students to help. And a student can just see this from a classmate on the top of their screen. They click on it, and they can enter as a helper on helper mode and work with their friend from their device. This is how the screen looks, as you saw. Well, another option, and we have 5 minutes left, is Padlet. And Padlet is actually I use it a lot because it's simple and it can be used from any device. It doesn't matter if you have iPads, Chromebooks, computer, even a cell phone, doesn't matter. It will work perfectly. So Padlet is a bulletin board. It's a virtual wall where everybody can collaborate. It has many options, many opportunities to work with, and it allows you to post an initial comment, and then the others can comment and work on. Teachers can also share ideas. We also kept one for the STEM group where teachers showed what they were doing in their specific classes. So it's a great option. It's also a back channel for conversations as you teach. I'm not going to go deeper into Padlet, but I have some links over here. I have a more if you want to go for specific instructions about Padlet. I'm going to copy this link. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that really fast. So you guys can have the opportunity to use it. It will be on the chat. And it has the instructions. And I can show you briefly some examples of what my students have done. In this case, I have a quote, and the students had to answer this question on the same Padlet. And you can put it on the main screen, and they can see as they type what others have been doing. So remember, if you want to know a little bit more about Padlet and how to collaborate through Padlet, go to the more link that I have placed on the video. I have some possible ways in which you can use it. Small group, allow the whole class. My students actually created a master list of vocabulary words last semester that they have access to throughout the year. We can also make one-pagers collaboratively and online instead of on paper. Now, before we say bye-bye, we are going to show you some district resources that we have. Remind you to use Discovery Education. This is a great, great, great resource that we have for our classrooms. Our students have their login as well. And personally, I like the SOS. Just type SOS on the top, and it will give you some strategies that you can use by skill. So if you want an instructional hook, an assessment skill, compare and contrast, you can just open and get several skills, and we'll show you a video, the PDF for you to utilize the skill. We have Mac and Via. Mac and Via has many resources for us, and I'm trying to do this really fast. The short one, sorry. And this is great to help your students find specific references that they can cite on their work, and even images, especially when they like to copy and paste from the internet. just teach them some digital skills and tell them to go through Mac and VIA and utilize those images. Another one that we want to share with you is atomic learning. Atomic learning gives you the great opportunity to learn whatever you need to learn at this point. So you can sign in for example, let me just click on Climate in the Classroom, and I can see this course, how long it takes to take the course, and I can actually sign in for it and learn about climate in the classroom. So you can type something you're searching for and look at the courses they have available related to that topic. So you see, this is amazing. Google mobile apps, Google Tips from Google Classroom training, Google Maps. So you have many great trainings to actually learn specific tools. It's really easy to access this from, I actually use the screenshot from SchoolNet. So you have all the icons right there. And well, if you have any questions, let us know. We'll stay connected for a little while, answering any questions on YouTube, on the chat. It was a pleasure having this opportunity to share some ideas with you. And don't forget to also access the i3 Learning webpage. This is a great page that we have where we put all this webinars. So if you have any questions or any topics that you're interested in, you can just click on this and learn about different resources. How to use, for example, Padlet in the classroom, student-driven digital portfolios. So you have many great ideas. Well, these were our 30 minutes to have this amazing webinar with you. I hope that you learn a little bit with us, and if you have any questions, feel free to just send us a message, join us on Twitter, email us, and we can help you with anything that you need and any questions. Well, that's all for today. I'm going to stay connected for a little bit to see if there are any comments on the chat, and we're going to start sharing that link for you to get your credit. So have an amazing one.